Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Nancy Reamer, and welcome to the Reviva Labs Webinar. I am the Director of Education and Training for Reviva Labs, and today's topic is what causes dark spots and discoloration in the skin. But before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that each month Reviva Labs will be hosting a webinar focusing on a different topic pertaining to skin and skincare. And you can find all the dates and topics on our website, revivalabs.com, under the About Us and Events. And, if there's also a particular topic you'd like us to address in a webinar or a blog, please let us know. We're always interested in hearing from you. And lastly, if you know somebody who is missing today's presentation, or if you yourself have to jump off for whatever reason, these webinars are posted, again, on our website under blog. So give it about 24 hours and then they'll be uploaded. Okay, and lastly, questions. I will take questions at the end of the presentation. You're welcome to still type them as you think of them, but just know that I'll address them at the end. Okay, and with that, let's begin. Again, our topic today is what causes dark spots and discoloration in the skin. And for those of you who don't know much about Reviva Labs, or maybe this is your first time joining us for a webinar, just a quick brief history of who we are. We launched in 1973, and our founders, Stephen and Judith Strassler, always had one goal in mind, and that was to create safe, effective skin treatments that produce visible results, and this is key, at a reasonable price. So we've been doing that for the last half century and have been attracted a loyal customer base that has generations of women who look to us for guidance. And we are also committed to the highest quality ingredients that are both safe and effective as we continue to formulate or even reformulate some of our products. So, and actually, we'll be talking a lot about some of the ingredients today that we use in some of our best sellers. So with that bit of history done, let's begin. To understand hyperpigmentation, we first have to understand a little bit about the epidermis. So, and melanin in particular. So skin tones range obviously from light to dark, depending on the amount of melanin or pigment in our skin. And the cells that are responsible for making the pigment are known as melanocytes. They not only determine the depth of your skin tone, but also your eye color and your hair color. These pigment cells are located this is the epidermis right here on the screen, the top layer down to this more sort of squirmy red layer. That's called the basal cell layer. And that's where the melanocytes live, in the basal cell layer. Now, the amount of melanin or the number of melanocytes that you have is genetically determined. So let's see what happens and why we have hyperpigmentation. So in a nutshell, a dark spot or an area, often called hyperpigmentation, is a collection of overactive pigment cells that leads to a darkening of the skin. And that a number of things can cause melanocytes to go into overdrive, but I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear that it is sunlight, UV light, is the #1 cause for the cells to produce increased amounts of melanin, which darkens the overall skin tone. And colloquially, we call this a tan. But typically, this darkening of the skin or tan is evenly dispersed and diminishes over time, and our cells will return to a normal color. But some melanocytes produce more melanin than others, and they collect at a very deep level within the epidermis. And the deeper in the skin that collection of pigment is, it's harder to treat. So to take that idea of a tan and just bring it, maybe shed a little bit more light, no pun intended, on that. So here's a melanocyte, and when it senses the UV light, it will send packets. See these little arms, these little purple arms here called dendrites? They throw little packets, if you will, to the keratinocytes, the larger skin cell. And if you've know, or maybe you've heard me on other webinars talk about these keratinocytes, they're the cells that travel to the top layer of the skin and replace the dead skin cells here. But when we're out in the sun or exposed to UV light, the melanocytes go into overdrive and they send those packets of pigment up. And at the end of the day, our skin is darker because all these skin cells have heightened amounts of melanin. Now, mostly, as I said before, these will, your skin tone returns to normal over time, but sometimes there's that hyperproduction of the melanocytes, and they just go into overdrive and they collect in one area, and thus we have hyperpigmentation. And often that hyperpigmentation is not apparent. You can have, oopsie, sorry, dog in the house. You can have that hyperpigment. You can get that exposure to sun maybe, years ago, and it starts becoming apparent in your later decades, unfortunately. So let's look at some other common causes of hyperpigmentation. Hang on one second. I'm going to close the door. Okay. Okay, number one cause, as I mentioned, was and still is UV light. And that's not only a reaction to the exposure to the sun, but it's also a reaction to tanning beds. And spots, just to clarify, as a result of UV light, or actually any of these causes, are called dark spots, liver spots, sunspots. They all mean the same thing. It's hyperpigmentation. And that hyperpigmentation is often more apparent in fair or light-skinned people over 40, but everybody exposed to the sun or a tanning bed will have hyperpigmentation. Hormonal changes, birth control pills, hormone replacement therapy, all contribute to dark spots as well. And in particular, melasma, something that happens when a woman is pregnant, typically called pregnancy mask, which appears right on the bridge of the nose, the forehead, cheeks, upper lip, not necessarily all together. It can be just parts of the face. It can be all of those areas. But that's thought to be caused by a combination of increased hormones in the system due to the pregnancy, sun exposure, and heat. And that will also dissipate over time, but sometimes it doesn't, and it just stays. Inflammation. Just general inflammation, an injury to the skin will cause hyperpigmentation. Acne, think about it. Often a really intense blemish, a pimple that just just stayed for a long time, but when it finally leaves, you often see a ring where it was, and it's typically called acne scarring. An insect bite, a cut, a burn can all leave a darkening of the skin. Medications, antibiotics, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and tetracycline in particular can cause inflammation, which can lead to hyperpigmentation. Now, dark under eye circles, but let me just go back for 1 second on the hyperpigmentation. I just want to talk a little bit about areas of the skin. You often, this is not going to surprise anybody, but the developing of the darkness of the spots not only includes the face, but in time it includes the hands, your arms, the top of your back, your shoulders, and even the fronts of your legs. Think about it, areas that typically are exposed to the sun, or areas that you don't think about applying sunscreen to, like maybe the tops of your ears even. So yeah, any place that's exposed is going to be prone to darkening. Okay, now let's get to under eye circles. A little bit of a different set of circumstances going on here. Now, dark circles can affect someone at any age, at any time, in any ethnicity. And the leading factors are basically genetics. You could just be more prone to darkness under your eye due to a thinness of skin. And again, that's genetically determined. Maybe it's the positioning of your eye. Your eye socket is a little bit further into your head. You have deep set eyes, which always makes a casting of a shadow You know, it's nothing you can do about that one. But I think we all are familiar with the dark circles that are associated with fatigue or stress, lack of sleep, dehydration, staring at a computer screen, which we're all doing more and more these days, and just the general thinning of the under eye skin due to aging. Now, let's dive into this a little bit deeper. The skin, as I said, under the eyes is a little bit thinner and more delicate than the facial skin. So when the eye becomes irritated, the capillaries under the eye are so small and fragile, they can't handle the flow of blood that's sent to that area when the eye becomes irritated. And as a result, the red blood cells spill over into the surrounding tissue. The little capillaries will just leak out or break. And to take care of that spill, the body does send enzymes to mop up. In particular, if the hemoglobin, the molecule that's responsible for the red color of blood, breaks down before those enzymes can work their magic and take away the darkness, the eye area is left looking dark and maybe even blue. So it's very similar or the same as when you get a bruise, like say on your arm or on your leg, it's caused by an injury. That immediate impact causes a breakage of capillaries, of blood vessels, and it just there's a little spillage into the surrounding tissue. But the major difference is the thickness of the skin on your body. It's way thicker than on your face even. And on your under eyes, the dark circles will become far more apparent because it's very, very thin skin. So you don't have the natural protection so that you see that bruising right away. Okay, so let's look at some solutions. I'm going to look at hyperpigmentation and solutions for that on the facial skin first, and then we'll address the eyes. So probably no surprise, the best thing you can do to prevent future dark spots and discoloration in the skin is to stay out of the sun or limit your time in the sun, particularly during the hours of 10 and 2 or 3 even. Those hours are when the UV rays are the strongest. And I would personally advise to stay out of tanning beds no matter what. They are just so damaging. But since we live in the real world and we do things out in the sun, sports, gardening, biking, whatever it is, you need to protect your skin with the right amount of SPF every day and all day. And if you know you're not going to be able to reapply your sunscreen throughout the day, try to wear clothing that minimizes your exposure to the sun. Long sleeves, hats, just to minimize it. And you'll see the difference in your skin. Professional solutions. While there are a number of professional treatments that can remove or even diminish dark spots, these procedures tend to be expensive and somewhat aggressive, depending on what it is. But they are effective, and they include prescription amounts of retinol or azelaic acid, which are great for removing dark spots. But there's also treatments like pulse light, laser resurfacing, chemical peels, microdermabrasions. But again, many of these treatments require multiple visits to the professional, so it can get expensive and not really very practical. But fortunately, there are terrific skincare solutions that are easier and in some ways just as effective to take care of hyperpigmentation every day. And all you need to do is look for facial products that contain these ingredients. So some of the 3 best for brightening and lightening ingredients are kojic acid, which is sourced from fungi, mushrooms, or fermented rice. And it is known to fade dark spots and correct uneven skin tone, overall skin tone. Glycolic and lactic acids, also known as alpha hydroxy acids or chemical exfoliants, they slough away those pigmented cells that I talked about, the keratinocytes that replace the top layer of the skin. Remember, they're carrying extra packets of pigment. So using glycolic acid or lactic acid regularly will keep your skin looking brighter and just sweep away those dead skin cells. And hydroquinone. helps to reduce the appearance of discoloration for a more even skin tone. And there are amounts in 1 or 2% that we can use over the counter. But again, sunscreen must be applied when using any of these products, or products that contain any of these ingredients, or else you're just damaging the fresh new skin cells that you've worked so hard to bring out. So always apply a sunscreen. Other ingredients, natural ingredients that help with discoloration: niacinamide, a form of B3, helps to lighten dark spots. But it goes a little bit further. Having this form, niacinamide, in a skincare product also helps to reduce inflammation. And remember, inflammation was one of the things that also leads to hyperpigmentation. And it helps to regulate oil production. It lightens dark spots in about 4 weeks' time. Think of an average cell turnover. That's when it's going to do its best work. Alpha-arbutin. It's a natural derivative of hydroquinone sourced from bearberry or mulberry plants. That inhibits a key enzyme that goes into action that's involved in the melanin production. So that's a nice natural ingredient to use, as is just straight bearberry and mulberry plants. They contain the arbutin, so it's sort of a double whammy here, of that naturally lightens and brightens and calms the irritation. Licorice, you'll see that ingredient often in eye products. That helps in lightening sunspots, calms, soothes, and anti-inflammatory as well. Vitamin C, can't live without that one. Vitamin C not only is an antioxidant that helps prevent future damage, but it also helps to inhibit that enzyme to help prevent the melanin production from being sparked into action, and lightens and fades dark spots and dull skin. And green tea, while I don't think there's any clinical or anything that actually says it works specifically on darkening, I've included it here because it is a really terrific antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. So in general, any amount of antioxidants you can put in or get in your skincare product, it's just going to help prevent future damage and protect your skin a little bit better, and help with some of them help better than others with inflammatory responses. So at Reviva Labs, we have a whole collection called the Brightening collection of products that help and that use many of these ingredients that help with discoloration. Starting right with our Brightening facial cleanser. This does contain the kojic acid. Remember, the fermented rice that goes to work right away on discoloration. Licorice root, mulberry, and lactic acid. The combination of all those ingredients will give you, and yes, you wash it on and wash it off, but it just helps sort of infuse the skin in that process with a little bit, particularly the lactic acid, with eliminating the top dead skin cells for your skin to be able to receive whatever you put on next, which would be the dark spot brightening serum. I am so excited about this product. Forgive me for not having this in full screen this whole time. Okay. So the dark spot brightening serum, I wanted to enlarge this so you can see there's like 7 different ingredients in here. We've recently reformulated and boosted the brightening ability of this serum, including with niacinamide, the arbutin or resveratrol, but licorice and the bearberry. I mean, it's a great product for taking care of dark spots and overall hyperpigmentation. And how I would suggest using this is to apply 2 to 3 drops on your fingertips, starting with your index finger, and rubbing your fingers together, and apply it first on the area of the deepest pigmentation. So if you have a particular place on your face where you want to get rid of or really have this product go to work with all those wonderful ingredients, put it right there first so it absorbs the maximum amount, and then use the excess and just put it all over your face. But I always feel like, just give the area that needs it the most of that product. You can follow up with the kojic acid brightening cream for daytime, and I like to use the hydroquinone brightening cream for nighttime when the body's at rest and I doesn't have to be interrupted with my SPF product. So you have a whole regimen right here for taking care of brightening your skin, starting with cleanser, serum, Kojic brightening cream, and then the hydroquinone brightening cream for night. And we've recently changed this product as well and put it in a more convenient tube and given you about 0.5 ounces more. It is now 3 ounces versus the 2.5 at the same price. For under eye circles, you really do need to address the eye area differently than the face. So daily use of this product, the Under Eye Dark Circle Serum, will brighten, soothe, depuff, and just in general improve the overall appearance of the skin. And again, because that skin is thinner around the eye, it does require a different product. And again, I would draw your attention to look at the ingredients that we put here. These two first ingredients are fabulous. These are the two that help the natural enzyme mop up of the dark circles. These two ingredients go in as well and help absorb and push away, or for lack of a better term, like I said, mop up that darkness in the area. So with continued use, day and night use, you will see an improvement in your eye area. Then you have the vitamin C to protect and strengthen and work on that dullness as well. And then peptides also for strengthening. Peptides are generally there to support the collagen in your skin. In our anti-aging collection, we do have a few products also that would go to work on brightening dull skin, and really honestly great for sun-damaged or aging skin, where the sun damage is becoming more and more apparent. So we have glycolic acid facial cleanser and toner. Each of these products has, the toner has 4% glycolic acid and the facial cleanser has 3%, and then followed with the 10% glycolic acid cream. You are getting a good dose of, again, that chemical exfoliant, glycolic acid, which is derived from sugar cane, just going to work to enhance and improve the overall dullness and encourage brightening of the skin. And because all 3 of them use the glycolic acid, again, the first 2 are wash-on, wash-off products, but still you're getting your good dose in that process that you're going to do every day anyway, and then you follow up with the 10%. We have changed this formula just ever so slightly. It's still 10%, but we've added a buffered glycolic acid cream. So some of you may be saying, hey, I don't feel that tingliness anymore, but that's because we've eliminated it by adding a kind of glycolic acid that again is buffered or prevents that tingling from happening. So you are getting the same amount, but just in a more, I don't know, gentle acceptance of the skin, and easier to use, I think. But again, I would use it at night first until your skin gets used to it at 10%, and then you can use it every day, day and night, if that's what you'd like to do. Our dual source vitamin C serum is gentle, a really potent concentrate. It, as the name suggests, has 2 different forms of vitamin C going to work to effectively brighten, correct existing environmental damage, and also prevent from future damage. I use this every day. Can't get enough vitamin C on the skin. And you knew this was coming. Anytime you're outdoors, your skin needs extra protection. Please use any SPF, but ours in particular is good. It defends against harmful UVA rays. It's easily absorbed, greaseless. Again, it's in a larger 3-ounce tube for more convenience. You can just put it in your bag when you're on the go. But please, whatever you use, just try to use SPF every single day to protect your skin. So, as a recap, I don't think I need to say it again, but I will. The sun is the #1 cause of dark spots and hyperpigmentation, so you want to make sure that you're applying sunscreen every day and regularly, reapplying regularly, cover up. You know, I moved, a long time ago now from New York to Los Angeles, where I'm based, and I was so aware of the intensity of the sun when I moved here. It's so different from New York, being in Southern California. So I actually do this. I wear long sleeves, white loose clothing when I go to the beach, because I just know too much about what the sun will do. So I've totally changed my habits, not in addition to my living area, but it was totally in response to the sun. Don't frequent tanning booths. Avoid the exposure to the sun if you can between those damaging ray times between 10 and 2 or 10 and 3. And look for products with ingredients that have long been used to lighten and brighten the skin. So I hope that was helpful to you all today in understanding our skin. Now I'm going to open it up. 2 questions. Just have to get to that screen. Oops. Okay, so while I'm trying to figure this out, there we go. Okay, if anybody has a question, now is the time to type in your message, and I'd be happy to answer it. Thank you. I was going to say, I guess I was pretty thorough, but yeah, somebody just mentioned that it was informative. I'm glad you learned a lot. I really think when you totally understand what's happening in the skin, it helps you understand why dark spots appear, and then, of course, the ingredients that are effective at treating them. So, and again, this will be posted on our website, revivalabs.com, under blog. Give us about 24 hours to upload it, and it's there for future future information. I see that some other people are typing, so I'm just gonna wait a minute or two. Do the products have any fragrance, or are they fragrance free? Yes, our products are fragrance free. Yeah, fragrance can often cause irritation to the skin, so whatever scent or whatever aroma comes from opening the tube or the jar, that's totally just a product of the formulation of all the ingredients. I'm still waiting, I'm sorry, for people. They're typing. Which product would be best for melasma and can be used in overall larger areas? I would use, in terms of melasma, that is a tough one to treat. I would probably use the serum, the dark spot serum, excuse me, followed with the hydroquinone. And I would use those day and night. But again, sunscreen. And I believe, if my information is correct, once you have melasma, you have to be super careful in the future in protecting your skin. So I would also, not only sunscreen, I would wear a hat or just overall covering, but I would use that whole series of products that I showed from the Brightening collection, but I would use hydroquinone day and night. And all our products are cruelty-free. And talk about hydroquinone in terms of some of the more negative, the negative reviews or negative reactions to hydroquinone have been at levels that are way higher than what we can use in United States in over-the-counter products. Again, we use only 1 to 2% in our hydroquinone product. And I think that where the levels get serious and problematic is more like at much higher levels than that, like at 3 to 5%, something that we could never use as a skincare brand. And can you use dark circle eye serum along with other eye serums? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm a big serum person, so I would probably use the dark circle under eye serum if you want to use 2 serums at once, one for maybe hydration or just general support to the eye area. I would do the dark circle first, allow all those great ingredients to penetrate, and then give it some time to dry down, then apply another eye serum right on top. or you can always do day and night. And I would probably use the dark circle under eye serum during the day, and use any other eye serum at night. What do you recommend for the décolletage where there is sun damage? Oh, any of the products that we use on the face can be brought down right into the chest area. So I would go ahead and use the dark spot brightening serum, as well as either the kojic acid or the hydroquinone, right, all over from face, neck to chest. Is it best to use a serum before applying a moisturizer? Yes, serums are more concentrated typically, and just by virtue of the delivery system typically being in a gel form, they dry down very quickly and are absorbed quickly by the skin. So I would use a serum for anything specific you're trying to address, whether it's dark spots, hydration, peptides for strengthening. I would always use those first before moisturizer, day and night. Does the brightening formulas also make you more sensitive to the sun? I don't know. The hydroquinone might. I don't know for sure. But in general, anytime you're using brightening ingredients, even like glycolic acid or lactic acid, always use a sunscreen. You're going to be more sensitive in that those ingredients help promote quicker exfoliation of dead skin cells. So you have a fresher, brighter group, if you will, of skin on your face. So you want to make sure that you're protecting that, or else you're just undoing all the good you've done for those new fresh skin cells. So in that way, yes, your skin is more sensitive. Oh, somebody's asking about the green papaya mask to exfoliate prior to using serums, and we don't carry that anymore. You're right. I would use, that's a great question. I love the fruit enzyme mask. That was covered in the last webinar. If you want to go take a listen quickly to that. But I would use the fruit enzyme mask in our specialty category. Because the fruit enzymes are a natural exfoliant too. They gently loosen the bonds between the skin cells that are about to go and the fresh new ones that are coming up. So that would be a replacement. It uses does use papaya and pineapple as well. So that's a good replacement. I avoid using. Yes, I addressed hydroquinone having a bit of a bad rap, but again, it does not. It's perfectly safe in our products because we use only 1 to 2%. All the bad press on hydroquinone is, in my understanding, at levels way higher and more at a professional level of usage. So much higher than the 1 to 2% than we do. It is perfectly safe. Any other questions? That's great. Okay, folks. Well, I appreciate you joining me today, and I look forward to maybe having you back next month for our next topic. Just checking my schedule right now. Our next topic in May is how to prevent wrinkles and skin problems while you're still young. Okay. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it having you with me today. And again, look for this to be posted within a day or so. Okay. Take care, everyone. Thank you.